We just got a pretty big update on Dragon Age Dreadwolf. Today is Dragon Age Day, so we had some sort of expectation something was happening today, and now we know when we're getting a full reveal of Dragon Age Dreadwolf, something that's a tad contentious within the community, like, okay, you're announcing an announcement, what's going on here? We're going to get into what will be announced in summer 2024. The last update we got on this game was in an unofficial capacity where we just knew it would be releasing sometime after April 2024. Otherwise, in the terms of an official update, we learned the game was in alpha in October of last year, so it's been a while. And with the Game Awards quickly approaching, it seemed like this was a pretty safe spot to assume BioWare would show up at, since this is where the last two Dragon Age Dreadwolf trailers had debuted, alongside the reveal of the brand new Mass Effect game. Well, it seems like they're striking a bit early here for Dragon Age Day, and they're going to be doing their own thing when the time comes to fully reveal Dragon Age Dreadwolf. We're going to get into everything here today surrounding Dragon Age Dreadwolf, so if you're new here and you're into BioWare, whether it be Dragon Age or Mass Effect, you're in the right place. We cover both games. Consider subscribing. The big question coming out of this trailer, which we are going to pick apart, is what exactly is a summer 2024 reveal? What are you going to be revealing? Didn't we already reveal the game? Is it a gameplay reveal? Is it a release date reveal? Well, if you comb through the blog post, at the very bottom, we get an answer on that, where BioWare writes, "This long-awaited chapter of Dragon Age is fast approaching, the time close at hand. We'll see you next summer with answers to your questions, including ones you have yet to ask. With that will come our full reveal, including new trailers, gameplay, and, of course, the long-awaited release date. The Dreadwolf will rise once more, and we'll have much more to share with you as we approach summer 2024. Please keep an eye on our social channels for all the latest information on Dragon Age Dreadwolf's reveal and beyond." So that's what we're going to be getting, full gameplay. Now, what you're seeing on screen are in-engine environment shots. It said that it's a mix of gameplay and cinematics, so we are seeing some of the locales I presume we will be exploring, but nonetheless, some people were a bit flustered by this, and I kind of understand where they're coming from. When it comes to Dragon Age versus Mass Effect, you can see what I feel as a fan who loves both these franchises, a bit of maybe internal favoritism in planning one over the other. When it comes to Dragon Age Dreadwolf, the game that's closer, you think the teaser would be more layered, much more to pick through here, much more to show off, of course, maybe even a smidge of a tease of what gameplay is like when it comes to combat. But you don't really get that. Meanwhile, with Mass Effect, we got a full day of 3 teasers that combined into a single trailer. We had tons of narrative details, and in fairness, a lot of the speculation and buildup of excitement around Mass Effect right now is who's the main character, at what point in the timeline is this, is Shepard returning, and what other characters from the N7 squad are going to be there, and how are they going to combine Andromeda and the N7 crew and so on and so forth. So it's really the basic premise of the game we're all trying to figure out, and so I think you can go a bit further with that. But yeah, I understand how Dragon Age fans are feeling, where it's like, hey, throw us a bone here, it's been a while, and why is Mass Effect getting more information when this game is supposed to be coming out within the next year? At the same time, to play a bit of devil's advocate, and this is how I feel, one of the big complaints about BioWare is speaking too soon. And they oftentimes speak when they don't know what the game is going to be. I look at, say, Anthem as that title. I look at Mass Effect Andromeda as another example. And so I kind of like that they're saying, hey, here's where we're going to talk about the game in full. And I understand personally how people would feel a bit impatient. I don't want to wait till summer 2024. But I'd rather, when I learn about the game, learn all about it, what it's actually going to be, what we're actually going to be playing. Because I think BioWare's biggest enemies have been themselves. But also, I think it's been how they've gauged expectations, where we're sitting here thinking that this same game has been in development for the last 8 years or whatever, since Dragon Age Inquisition, when it turns out this project's been overhauled a couple of times. Seeing in full what we're going to be playing, I think, will help gauge expectations on what exactly we will be experiencing. Does that mean that the writing's going to be phenomenal and the choice and consequence is going to be back and that we're all going to love Dreadwolf? No, not quite yet, but I am interested in how they're approaching this, because I think it could benefit them long term, which is a lot of what they've been doing lately, is trying to, I think, re-strategize and reorganize for a brighter future. So we'll see if this reveal plan pays off. I think they could have done this at the top of the new year instead to kind of set the tone for 2024. But I also get why they may have wanted to just dodge the bullet early of, hey, where were you? The Game Awards passed and still no Dragon Age. So kind of in a lose-lose position for them. I think ultimately they made the right call. But we have much more to talk about here today beyond just the marketing plans for Dragon Age Dreadwolf. We got to talk about this brand new trailer, which we got written details of in the blog post, which we're going to go through now. They say, we stand on the precipice of change. This is a world brimming with stories and characters waiting to meet you. The fate of this world teeters on the edge of a knife. In past games, you only got to see a slice of the world. In Origins, it was Ferelden, a land ravaged by war and darkspawn. In 2, it was Kirkwall and its locales festering with corruption in a dark underworld. And in Inquisition, you ventured across much of Orlais, facing down political intrigue as often as combat. This time, however, much more of Thedas is yours to see. The desolate, beautiful badlands of the Anderfells with curtains of distant mountain spires, the twisting canals and gleaming towers of Antiva where crows may lurk in any shadow, the turquoise seas of Ravane with its rushes of greenery and hardy seafaring people, and of course, there's more. We felt this was the best for the tale we wanted to tell this time, and we hope you enjoyed as much as we have. It's also allowed us to create many more locations than past games, including both some you've longed to go to and some you've never heard of before. This is actually pretty interesting because I think based on what we're seeing in the trailer here and how BioWare is breaking it down, I anticipate the game's structure in the terms of exploration to be a lot like Dragon Age Inquisition. I feel it's going to have that semi-open world feel, hopefully not as much redundant, regurgitating content. That was my biggest problem with that game. Hopefully they do away with the power system, but I don't think this is going to be completely open world given the diversity of locations you can go to. Again, I think it's going to be a lot like, say, Dragon Age Inquisition, where you're going to be zipping all over the entire map of Thedas. However, this whole trailer is built around showing parts of the map that we are going to be exploring, and a lot of people are wondering, well, where's Tevinter? For those who have not been paying attention, for example, in an art book for the 25th anniversary of BioWare, they pretty much confirm here Tevinter Bound, a sneak peek at the follow-up to Inquisition. As BioWare entered its 25th year, the Dragon Age team was hard at work on Morrison, the code name of the long-awaited follow-up to Dragon Age Inquisition. The game, helmed by executive producer Mark Dara, will take players to Tevinter as the events of Inquisition and Trespasser threaten to forever change Thedas. What does this mean if you have all these other locations, but like Tevinter is going to be the main place? I think it could be one of two things. Number one, the simplest answer is the most true one, which is that these are just all locations to explore. I did see one bit of speculation that my Origins adoring heart absolutely craved for and thinks would be amazing. And it's that each of those 3 locations we saw could be, very ambitious thought, could be centralized places for origin stories, that you can start the game there and all roads lead to Tevinter, where the main game takes place. While Inquisition attempted to thread the needle between Origins and Dragon Age 2 when it came to gameplay, that hybrid between action and tactical awareness, I feel like it would be really awesome to see Dreadwolf go back to this, because this was the main reason I fell in love with Dragon Age, right? It was the origin stories. It was how the hero of Ferelden came to be, and I understand that's more about the intent of design, but I just feel the idea of picking where you start your game and having different alliances and allegiances and allies and enemies, it is such a captivating way to begin your tale each and every time. For me, I am most excited about Antiva. The reason that is I think about the Dragon Age series as a whole. Origins you can excuse, but for example, Kirkwall was a city that never felt fully realized because of how segmented it was. And of course, when you go from the vast environmental diversity of Origins to a much more scaled down look at a singular city, its lack of openness, I think the same year Skyrim came out, really hurt what I think that game could have done. I still love Dragon Age 2. I definitely have a soft spot for it, and I think if you're a Dragon Age fan, like the story there, especially for Dreadwolf, is super important. But point being is, we haven't really seen a city well captured. I also think of Val Royeaux in Dragon Age Inquisition, this city that's beautiful, but very locked down. And Given the engine that this is presumably being built on, I'm not going to have my hopes sky high that suddenly we're going to have this wide, sprawling open city. But Antiva, on a visual level, this very much gothic kind of cityscape in a Dragon Age world is appealing to me, especially with this faction, the Crows, kind of lurking in the shadows, tracking down something mysterious, according to at least a caption on one of the fan arts that was submitted. They say, ever the pinnacle of mystery and intrigue, the Crows watch from the deep shadows of beautiful Antiva. Something, however, is amiss, and they are set on uncovering the source. And I feel like if BioWare is going to give some of these pieces of fan art the green light, there's usually something to glean from them, at least the caption, I would say, given that they use the fan art as well for N7 Day to have a QR code in there and eventually lead us to part 3, which was the final part of the trailer that dropped on N7 Day. Beyond all of that, when it comes to locales, there was a mysterious voice talking about ruling over the lands of Thedas that did not sound like the Dreadwolf, we'll say. So very interested to find out who that may be. Seems like no one has any idea whatsoever. So there's still a lot of question marks here on what's going on in Dragon Age Dreadwolf, and I just hope it's worth the wait at the end of the day. I really do. I think a lot of us are pulling for BioWare, especially as they've stayed quiet and taken their time, which I think was the right call. Here we are now. We're just, what, 7-8 months shy of the full reveal, which is a long ways away. At the same time, now people are wondering, okay, you're revealing in the summer, when's the game coming out? And I would not be too surprised if this ends up being a early, mid-2025 game at this point, with the pre-announcement of an announcement almost. I mean, I feel like all the signs are there for a game that's going to be further out than we expect. Now, it could be a pleasant surprise, given that they're talking about teasing more throughout the year. It could be a pleasant surprise where they go, oh, it's actually coming fall this year. We'll see how confident they're feeling. EA Play hasn't happened these last couple of years, and so maybe this has its own event, or maybe it signifies that EA Play is going to come back in the summer, and if so, maybe we expect something in June. It'll be interesting to see where this one falls in the summer, and naturally, I'll be there to cover it. But I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts down below, so please do fire away with that. Take excellent care of yourselves, and I will see all of you in the next video. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who support the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.